Iran's political system is a unique blend, a theocratic republic, not quite a democracy, nor a dictatorship. At the top is the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who holds ultimate authority over all major state matters, rooted in religious law. This structure emerged after the 1979 Islamic Revolution, transforming Iran from a monarchy to the Islamic Republic. Below the supreme leader are elected officials, a president and a parliament, the Majlis, chosen by the people. But elections are tightly controlled. The Guardian Council, half appointed by the supreme leader, vets all candidates, limiting real choice. This creates a constant tension. Elected bodies promise change, but unelected institutions like the Guardian Council and Revolutionary Guard enforce strict ideological boundaries. The president and parliament may campaign for reforms, but hardline institutions can overrule or block their efforts. This push and pull defines Iranian politics. Change is possible, but always within strict limits. When you hear about political struggles in Iran, it's often this clash between elected reformers and unelected hardliners. The supreme leader and his allies can overrule laws, control the courts, and direct the security forces. As a result, political events in Iran are rarely straightforward and always layered with deeper meaning. Understanding the system is key to making sense of Iran's headlines. The real power lies with those who are unelected, making true reform a constant uphill battle. This is the complex web that shapes every major decision in Iran. Reformists in Iran aren't revolutionaries. They're insiders seeking gradual change within the Islamic Republic. Their goals: more social freedoms, a less confrontational foreign policy, and a more open economy. The movement surged in the late 1990s when Mohammad Khatami's presidency brought a brief period of cultural and political openness. Newspapers flourished, civil society grew, and public debate became vibrant, showing a hunger for change among urban youth and the educated. But reformists have always faced fierce resistance from hardliners. The Guardian Council routinely disqualifies their candidates, the judiciary shuts down reformist media, and the Revolutionary Guard curbs their influence. As a result, reformists' power rises and falls, often stifled by the conservative establishment. Still, they remain a vital outlet for dissent, representing millions who want a more open society. Even when marginalized, their presence forces hardliners to acknowledge public demand for change. The ongoing struggle between reformists and conservatives is the central drama of Iranian politics. It's a battle over the country's future direction, playing out in every election and policy debate. For many Iranians, reformists are the only hope for peaceful change. Just weeks ago, a wave of arrests targeted Iran's reformist leaders. Security agents swept up prominent politicians, former officials, and key strategists, figures central to the reformist cause. The timing was no accident. It came as factions prepared for the upcoming parliamentary elections. Homes were searched, devices seized, and detainees taken to undisclosed locations, leaving families in the dark. The message was unmistakable. Dissent would not be tolerated. This crackdown echoes the aftermath of the disputed 2009 election, signaling the hardliners' determination to crush any reformist resurgence. With their leadership detained, the reformist camp is left disoriented just as election season begins. Days after the arrests, Iran's judiciary claimed the detainees threatened national security, not for their political beliefs but for alleged plots to create unrest. Officials accused them of collaborating with foreign intelligence and planning to disrupt the elections. Charges often used to silence opposition. State media amplified these claims, painting reformists as traitors and foreign agents. No concrete evidence was provided, and families were denied access to case files. Critics argue these vague accusations are a familiar tactic to justify repression. The lack of transparency and due process only deepens public skepticism. For many, the arrests appear politically motivated, not based on real criminal activity. Many believe the real motive behind the arrests is political, not security-related. With elections looming, Hardliners see reformists as a threat, even in their weakened state. Iran faces economic hardship and public discontent, and reformists could channel this frustration into a powerful movement. By detaining leaders, the establishment preempts any organized opposition. The crackdown sends a warning to all critics: challenge the system, and you'll face consequences. This creates a chilling effect, silencing dissent and ensuring a tightly controlled election. With conservatives now dominating all branches of government, the goal is clear: eliminate opposition and cement hardline rule. The hardliners are shaping Iran's future by sidelining any alternative voices. The timing of the arrests, just before parliamentary elections, was strategic. Elections in Iran, though controlled, are moments of heightened political activity. Reformists were preparing to participate, but the arrests have left them leaderless and disorganized. This move ensures conservatives will face little competition, likely resulting in a compliant parliament. With hardliners in control, new laws could further restrict society and strengthen state power. The government is betting that total control outweighs the risk of low voter turnout. Many Iranians, disillusioned by the lack of real choice, may simply stay home. For the hardliners, securing a loyal parliament is worth sacrificing the appearance of democracy. The result? A less competitive election and a parliament aligned with the supreme leader's vision. This is a calculated effort to lock in conservative dominance for years to come. For most Iranians, daily life is a struggle. Rising prices, stagnant wages, and economic uncertainty overshadow politics. Many feel disconnected from the power struggles, focused instead on survival. Yet for the urban middle class and youth, the arrests are a crushing blow to hopes for change. Social media is filled with frustration and despair, as people see the system closing off avenues for peaceful reform. The crackdown deepens fear and self-censorship, making open discussion risky. Journalists and students avoid sensitive topics, creativity is stifled, and public discourse shrinks. The arrests remind everyone of the state's reach and willingness to use force. This widens the gap between the government and its people, fueling quiet resentment. Silencing reformist leaders doesn't solve the underlying issues, it only pushes discontent underground. The calm on Tehran's streets masks a simmering frustration. The government may have silenced dissent, but the desire for change remains. The risk-growing desperation could one day erupt in unpredictable ways. The crackdown drew swift condemnation from human rights groups and Western governments. Organizations like Amnesty International called for the release of detainees, citing lack of due process and political motivation. The US and European countries urged Iran to respect basic rights. But their influence is limited. Iran's government dismisses such criticism as foreign interference. For Western powers, the arrests complicate nuclear negotiations, forcing a balance between diplomacy and human rights concerns. Meanwhile, Russia and China remain silent, signaling tacit support for Iran's internal actions. This split response highlights global divisions and limits the impact of international pressure. Iran knows it can count on non-interference from key allies, blunting Western criticism. The immediate future is clear. Hardliners will dominate the new parliament, facing little opposition. The reformist movement, long a symbol of hope for gradual change, is now in jeopardy. Many young Iranians may abandon the idea of reform from within, turning to more radical or external solutions. The government's crackdown may bring short-term stability, but it risks fueling deeper unrest. Economic problems remain unsolved, and public frustration is growing. With all power concentrated among conservatives, responsibility for the country's future rests squarely on their shoulders. If they fail to deliver, new waves of protest could erupt, this time without organized political leadership. Iran stands at a crossroads. Repression may buy time, but it cannot erase the demand for freedom and opportunity. By silencing moderates, the leadership is taking a major gamble. The outcome will shape Iran's destiny for years to come.